Have you ever wondered about marine life and manatees in Belize? Well, today we're sitting with Jamal Galves. He is a World Wildlife Fund Planet Hero, a National Geographic Explorer. He won one of the highest honors in Belize, the National Hero Award, and he is with the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Jamal, thanks for hopping on with me, bro.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
I'm excited to hear about your story, man, because you have one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard in Belize. And if you wouldn't mind, just share a little bit about the beginning of where you started and how you started working with manatees.
Me and I grew up in Galves, Manatee. Famous and known for the manatees presence there. And as a kid, manatees were like a bird or a cat to me. You see it all the time. You take those things for granted. And I remember clearly as a kid standing in my grandma's lawn, I see this weird looking boat goes by. It says Manatee Research and has an engine in the front and a weird looking tower, and like a kid who sees a cool truck, I'm admiring this boat and like, yo, that boat is like sick. Of course. And I wanted to get on that boat and I started asking questions and I heard that they were doing Manatee research. So before you know it, my cousins and I started playing Manatee rescue on my grandma's lawn, fight to see who got to drive the cool boat, who gets to be the doctor, and eventually my interest outgrew my grandma's lawn and I wanted more than just that imagination. I wanted the real thing. Yep. So I walked down to the dock where I actually met the guy who is still my boss today, an 11-year-old kid. I stepped up and I'm like, I want to come out with you guys. And he looks at me, shrugged for a second and say, you're too small. Yeah. But I'm really good at making him I'm about to cry face that sort of like played on his heart, and he's like, kid, let's go. I didn't even ask my grandma's permission, which had some consequences.
No, you're gonna get in trouble for that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's careful, Jamal. I would do that all over again. But literally being out there with this world renowned scientists taught me things I never knew about a species that I've lived amongst my entire life. Wow. Learning and hearing that they're in danger, the hearing and seeing the boat scars and knowing that they're in trouble, I felt. Even though I was only 60 pounds, I wanted to save a species that was 4 times my weight. Yeah. It may sound crazy, but sometimes you gotta see big leap to do crazy things and dream big and not just dream, but act on your dream. Yeah, man. I pushed my way, I forged my way, I was persistent, I was determined. I mean, determined to save the species. It's my life gift. It's a blessing. I'm honored. I'm grateful that I was selected to be the voice for this species that cannot speak for itself. Not because they can't speak doesn't mean they don't have something to say. And for their story to be heard, you got to sing out and sing loud. And sing out like Louise so that people can hear that these animals are in trouble and you want to protect them. And for Belizeans and people to have a greater appreciation for these amazing species.
Man, even more than that, just hearing that story, you know, you're an inspiration to Belize, man. Like someone that just dedicated. You started when you were 11 and you just didn't change path. You stayed committed, and look at where you are now with so many amazing achievements and so many more to come. But Jamal, could you tell me a little bit, what type of manatees do we have in Belize?
So formerly known as the Antillean manatee because they're found in the Antilles. This year, the name of that species have actually been renamed to the Greater Caribbean manatee, which is a better representation of the species.
Easier to remember too, right?
Yeah, true, and the Antilles the numbers of manatees in the Antilles are really low. Yeah. Belize is home to the last stronghold to the largest population of the species in the world. So it's something that we boast, something that we are very encouraged by. But it's not just boasting it. The population here is very important for the species, not just in Belize, but on a regional scale and on a larger scale. Because it means that our conservation efforts here are critical to the survival of the species. We're hoping that we can do enough to help the population to rebound to what it once was.
And there's a technical term for these manatees, right? It's really hard to say.
Shikakis manatus manatus.
Shikakis manatus manatus. In case you guys were wondering, you know. That's crazy though, man. So what are some of the biggest risks right now to manatees, not only in Belize, but in the broader region, like you had said?
Manatees are tough animals, they're resilient, and they tend to adapt really well, but sometimes the pressures brought upon them by humans are tremendous. For instance, manatees don't have any natural predators. So when people ask me, what are the predators to manatees? I say people. The reason why they're endangered today is because they used to be hunted in the past. That has been replaced by the likes of watercraft collision. Many manatees get hit by boats across the entire country, even internationally. It's one of the main causes for their demise. Entanglement in fishing gears, unsustainable fishing activities like gill nets, and people throwing them on the filament lines in the waterways, fish traps with ropes. Things that are detrimental to these species, they see these as objects that they're not familiar with, and they tend to become curious and get tangled. And garbage pollution is also a problem. Plastic is everywhere. Something that we as human has really done a horrible job with. We need to sort of like find ways to stash our trash properly so it doesn't end up in the environment, not just the Manatees, but for our human health as well. Things such as habitat loss has also been a problem for these animals. Climate change is big, not just for people, but also for the ecosystems and for Manatees. Changing climate means the ocean levels are rising, the temperature is changing, seagrass is sensitive to temperature. So you have the seagrass die off. Like for instance, in Florida, on the east coast of Florida, they had a significant die off on seagrass where over 1,000 Manatees died from starvation, literally.
Because they're herbivores, they eat that seagrass. Correct,
they're primarily herbivores, and now the state of Florida has been, all the facilities are at capacity with animals that have been rescued due to starvation. The government has reverted to feeding Manatees because there's no other option. And we're trying to like learn from mistakes or things that happen in the developed world to ensure that we in Belize we don't have that same thing. So we're trying not to, we're taking the good stuff that they do and we're trying to learn that things that have done wrong to not replicate those stuff, because we don't want that to be a situation here in Belize, as the population here is not big enough to sustain such a loss.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of good takeaways there. I would say number one, like, if you're a visitor coming to Belize, just be mindful of how much plastic you're using. Try to bring reusable water bottles, stuff like that, because every little impact you can make makes a difference. What are some of the other things that local Belizeans can do and people visiting the country can do when they're in the water, say, interacting with a manatee? Is there like a procedure that they should follow?
I mean, first of all, you should feel very special.
Always. We did it yesterday.
Exactly. It was crazy. I mean,
we had an amazing experience yesterday.
I mean, it's not many places you can go and actually observe these animals in their wild, in their habitat. A way that you can see their wild and natural behavior is just fascinating. So to be able to get the pleasure of doing so, you should be honored. To be respectful, that's the most important thing. Be respectful. You have to understand that this is their space. This is their sanctuary. And we're coming into their space, so the least you can do is to be observant and be respectful to their space. Try and keep a safe distance. We don't want to impact their behavior. You don't want to change their behavior. You want to observe what they're doing and study their behavior from a wild perspective. Always look but don't touch. That's the very common
number
thing.
one rule.
Exactly, look but don't touch. Manatees don't need to be fed. They have seagrass, they have a buffet of seagrass. They don't need to be fed. Feeding them. So by feeding these animals, you're changing their natural behavior. And not everybody's going to be friendly with a manatee. So if you start feeding the manatee, he starts to associate himself with humans. He may come in contact with not as a very nice person. Also things like don't pursue the animal. Trying to like observe without like disturbing noise, making splashes. Just try to be calm and appreciate the quietness and the gentleness of these animals' behavior is generally what I always ask people to do. And share your story. If you've had that experience, go and tell somebody about these stories of these animals so people can understand that these animals are endangered and they're literally fighting extinction and what they can do to make a difference.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that soon. One of the questions I have for you, Jamal, what is the current project you have going on at Galves Point? Because I know you're working on something really big down there that I'm excited for the people to hear about.
Correct, I'm excited, I'm truly excited about this project. It's something that I wish that was never needed. I work in conservation. Our job is to try and prevent these animals from needing to be rescued, prevent them from coming into rehabilitation because it costs a lot to do. And also you're bringing these animals from the wild, you're putting them in human care, and it's not what we want for them. We want them to be wild and free. But unfortunately, over the years, we've seen an increase in the number of manatees that have been killed as a result of human activities. We've seen an increase in the amount of animals that need to be rescued, whether it's adult being hit by a boat or a calf because their mother died and left an orphan. So that there's need for additional capacity to properly rescue, rehabilitate, and release. So the goal is to rescue, rehab, and release. But not to forget, inspire. We're using these animals to inspire people to want to be a part of conservation, to want to understand and make difference, make changes in their lives that can impact the species. So we're building one of the first ever Belize marine rescue and educational center.
Crazy, man.
But for me, the rescue and rehab is important, but the educational aspect is key for me because literally we're going to build a facility that will be molding the next generation of veterinarians, vet techs, biologists, lecturers,
manatee protectors.
Manatee protectors,
Come on, man.
Exactly. we want to, because I may not be the one that literally see these animals come out of the threat from the endangered.
Yeah, you got to pass the baton,
I want to spark the mind and the brain that will continue this journey so that Manatees don't need to be protected, that people will enjoy and love them by their behaviors, that they're going to change whatever they're doing, that they're impacting the species.
So kind of like something similar to the Belize Zoo, only for marine life.
Correct, definitely. A way that you can come in here and literally, when you walk through these halls, you'll learn everything about Belize's marine life.
Yeah.
And you'll also leave there seeing real life stories, seeing animals being treated for boat scars, seeing calf being fed because they're orphaned.
Yeah.
You'll literally leave there. If you don't leave there inspired, I'm not doing my job.
If you don't leave the new Manatee Conservation Area inspired, you guys aren't coming back to Belize. You got it. You got it, bro.
Definitely.
That's insane, though. So just like the Belize Zoo, it'll have rescued manatees. You'll have a whole learning process, and this is a project you guys are going to start pretty soon here. You've already kind of cleared the land, right?
Correct. We already secured the property, and we've gotten substantial support from the Ministry of Tourism through the Honorable Minister Mahler. I've had the support from numerous government entities, from Ministry of Natural Resources, Ministry of Works. It's really a comprehensive support. Every year we have a fundraiser called Cocktails for the Manatees. Cocktails and Manatees together.
Let's put this out right now. Yeah. Can anyone go?
Of course. Everybody's welcome to this event. It's August 17th at Cork Street. It's a night of fun and fundraising.
I love it.
So you're actually enjoying yourself while supporting a very, very important cause. All that funds will go into building this facility. It's going to be for Belize and expanding to offering opportunity not just for Belizeans but for international students to come down here and get hands-on experience and learn these techniques and be able to go back to their countries and literally put those experiences
That'll be
real life
amazing,
experience.
So say someone can't make that event, Jamal, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers, they're very active, they always like making an impact. How can they help immediately, whether it's donating money or time? Are there avenues that they can look at?
Correct. We provide a link where you can donate to support, but also, as much as donation is important to our work, people changing their behavior is even bigger. And people assume that supporting or helping is always a donation. It's literally sharing a post on social media. Your audience is different from my audience. By sharing, by literally the click of a button, you've opened another avenue. So people that may not
have never know what doors going to open up, right?
And to me, the most important tool in conservation, the most powerful tool is a story. We're telling a story, you're listening, and you're listening ears. So we're asking you to tell this story to 3 other people and let people in places where Manatees don't even exist hear about their plight, and so they can join this fight as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll put the link if you guys do want to make a donation below, or like Jamal said, we'll throw his IG up there. You can share. He's got amazing stories about saving manatees. Jamal, I guess before we close out, what's one of the most, one of your favorite manatee rescue stories to date so far in your career?
I don't want to be biased. They're all special. They're all literally. I don't see manatees as some people will say like, oh, it's a third rescue, it's a third manatee. They all have individual behavior. So it is. Each animal I've come in contact with taught me a life lesson. Wow. I mean, for me, one of the most special one is this manatee named Hope.
Hope.
Yeah, she was a 2 days old calf. Had her umbilical cord still attached. It was a hurricane that washed Hope out of the ocean, across the Philip Golson Highway, in the backyard of a motel. And she spent the night back there by herself in that storm and debris, and the owners of the hotel found him while they were cleaning up the debris and called us, and I was like, I got there and it looked like a small plastic bag in the water. And
oh my God.
For me, I gave her the name Hope because it literally, it made me feel hopeful. We had devastation from the hurricane, and this positive story was literally, it made Belizeans exciting because to me it's a tale of hope during a time of disaster. Wow. And it's very empowering, it's very inspiring, and the story tells that this young 2 days old calf could have survived, could have recovered from a hurricane and losing its mother. Why can't we as people be more resilient? Why can't we fight through these challenges? So it taught me a lesson of fighting through challenges despite your situation you're in.
Well, Jamal, yeah, I agree, man. Amazing story. You give me hope, man. Like hearing about someone coming from where you came from and becoming who you are now and knowing where you're going. Not only do I consider you an inspiration for myself, I consider you a close friend now, man. And I'm excited for more journeys together and to help the manatees. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget, hit that like button, throw a comment down, go check out Jamal's page. And aside from that, we'll see you out here in paradise soon. Jamal, thank you, bro. And hopefully with Jamal and me and some of the manatees soon, guys. We out.